Hello again, and welcome to another episode of the Fun Fans Podcast. I'm your host, James Dillard. With me, as always, my co-host, Bailey Jackson. How you doing, Bailey?
I'm good. Hope everybody's well tonight.
All right, and as you can see, we have a guest with us. Hadn't had a guest on here in a while. If you've been wondering about the hype behind pickleball, you are in the right place. College football has begun, and we're less than a week now from a huge weekend and Clemson's first game. And if you haven't heard about our new high school show coming soon, you will. But first, the Fun Fans are a proud part of the Fanboys Fangirls Sports Podcasting Network. If you're a true sports fan, the Fanboys Fangirls is perfect for you. Find various nationwide podcasts and other sports media at thefanboys.com and on all forms of social media. The Fun Fans is the official podcast for Clemson fans.
And our favorite spot to get food for our tailgate or in general is Ruben's Food, Sports Spirits, and Catering. The best wings around with two locations in the upstate. One's at 1083 Batesville Road in Greer, and the other one is 11028 Anderson Road in Piedmont. You can find them at rubensc.com. Rubens is simply a great place to eat and watch football. Check them out.
That's right. The Fun Fans Podcast is now also brought to you by Ivy O'Sullivan Healthcare Services. At Ivy O'Sullivan, they are more than just chiropractors. Since 1977, this family-owned business located in downtown Spartanburg has been helping people with techniques other than the typical twisting and popping that can sometimes make people nervous about trying a chiropractor. I have been a patient my entire life, and I take my own children there as well. If you have an ache or pain, give Ivy O'Sullivan Healthcare a try. And if you mention the Fun Fans Podcast, they'll donate 100% of your initial evaluation costs to their charity of the month. So call them at 864-583-3967. That's 864-583-3967. Or find them at ivyosullivan.com to feel better and function at your best. All right. So if you've been wondering, what's the deal with pickleball? I know a lot of, if you don't know, you don't know. And a lot of people ask. So tonight we have an old friend and his son. We have a father-son combo here. And they are professional pickleballers, just in case you didn't know. Right here in the upstate of South Carolina, they've been playing competitively for 2 years and recently switched to professional competition. Kaysen is only 12 years old. So please help us welcome to the show Dylan and his son, Kaysen Davison. How are you guys doing this evening?
Good.
Doing well, James. Bailey, thanks for having us on.
Awesome. Yeah, we appreciate y'all being with us. So anyway, the first question is really easy. So how, when, maybe why did you guys get involved with pickleball?
All right. So I went through, dark time in my life, went through an unexpected divorce, and I needed something to take away my, just kind of dictate my course of where my mind went. And I've always got big in. I played college baseball, did football, basketball, and baseball in high school, and then went to play college baseball. So then got big into slow pitch softball, and then kind of transitioned out of that when I had kids and stuff. And somebody had posted something about pickleball, and I had heard of it and kind of played before, and just kind of started playing, something to do with me and Case, and kind of be active and have something to do with him. And so we just started playing, fell in love with it, and then started at the lowest level, and then we work our way up. And our goal is to one day play on the pro tour together. So it's I've won a lot of things in sports, but getting to do this with Kaysen tops them all.
So it's exploding all over the place. Here in York County, we have courts everywhere, and they're always booked solid. So why do you think it's so fun for people to play?
Well, I think about pickleball. The thing about pickleball, what's different than, it's very comparable. A lot of people compare it to tennis. Tennis is it's hard to learn. So pickleball is it's simple to learn. I say it's simple to learn, but it's hard to master. And what I love about it, the higher level you go, the more strategic involved. So that's why you see a lot of the older people able to still play and compete at a very high level, is because there's so much strategy involved. And it's just you have to have like a game plan, come up with a game plan. You can't just being athletic is going to help you in every sport, but it can only take you so far in pickleball, because you go out there and you're playing, 67-year-old men that's had tennis their whole life, and they can angle shots and stuff like that and slow the pace of the game down. It can be frustrating. So
Yeah, he referred to older people, Bailey. He was talking about me and you.
Yeah, he's reaching our generation.
Yeah,
no, I've played with some guys that are in. It's crazy.
Well, that's cool, and that's what the assumption is, just kind of outside looking in, is for all ages, and because of the size of the court and whatnot. So when you guys compete together, are y'all competing against other father-son teams, or just like male doubles, or how does that work, or both maybe?
I'm glad you asked that question, because I think a lot of people, they see our picks and they think it's a father-son tournament, but no, we compete against other adults. So it's very, very rare that there's another child, because they do have a juniors division. So there's very rare that it's anybody's Cason's age, but yeah, we compete. Right now we're at the 4-0, in between the 4-0 and 4-5 level is where we compete at, which once you get to the 5-0 and above 5-0 and stuff like that, you start looking at the professional level and stuff like that. But yeah, we compete against other adults.
You hear that, Cason? You grown. You tell him next time he don't want to let you do something, you say, "I'm grown, Daddy."
Yeah.
Right.
I got a little funny story about that. We were playing in Aiken a couple of weeks ago, and there was 8 teams, and we were playing in the highest division they had to offer. And so we were playing double, so there was 16 players. And we got there and we were doing a briefing before the game with the tournament director. And he's like, "I only count 15." And he's kind of waiting around for the other one. And then he looks at Cason and he's like, he said, "Unless you're going to play," and started laughing. And I was like, "Nah, he is playing." And we ended up finishing third in that tournament and doing well. And he was just like, he was shocked. But it's just a funny story about, as he was the only kid in the whole tournament at that level.
Very good. All right, where are we, Bailey?
Oh, well, do y'all play individuals too, or do you just play together?
We play singles a little bit, but I don't play much singles. But Cason's actually going to play in his first ever PPA, which is a Professional Pickleball Association, his first ever juniors tournament in Atlanta, Georgia, here in a couple weeks. And right now there's about 22 from ages 8 to 12 years old that males that he's going to go play from all over. So he's going to play in that one, see how he pans out against the other youths around the world.
Cool.
Well, speaking of around the world, I've seen you guys. I mean, y'all literally travel and do this, not just stay here local. So, what's some of your favorite locations who puts on a good tournament?
We've played in a lot of great venues and everything, but I think probably one of my favorite tournaments would probably be in Columbia. They have an indoor pickleball facility. And we actually got to
24-hour pickleball.
Yeah, 24-hour pickleball, and we actually got to play in that, and got to play against actually a couple of the Clemson club players, and competed well against them. But that facility is awesome, very, very, very nice. And then we went to Johnson, the Bristol, our first PPA. That was an awesome facility, getting to watch the pros and meet the pros. So that was in Bristol, Tennessee. That was an awesome place. But I mean, so we went to too many to remember, but they're all great experience.
All right. So every athlete and sports person trains. What's your training for pickleball look like?
So what we do a lot for pickleball, we do what they call drilling and everything. So we'll get, some group of balls, and we'll do work on our soft shots and work on different shots and play some games, or we'll go to the courts and do some open play and work on stuff that we need, our weaknesses. We like to go work on that stuff like that together. So we do a lot of drilling and stuff to really work on our different shots. There's different shots you work on in pickleball, and the higher level you get, the more finesse you need to be and the more precise that you have to be with your shots, because the margin for error for messing up is far and few between once you get to that higher level.
That's right. So I also saw that you guys were recently picked up by Engage Pickleball as a sponsor. I'm sure that was really cool. And, as you guys, when you're first starting out, did you ever think that entering that level of moving into a professional level with a sponsor, was that ever part of the plan? And as you answer that question, you can just translate right into telling the listeners how they can get them some Engage Pickleball gear.
Yeah, so when anybody that knows me on a personal level, like I love to compete, and when I got out of college baseball, once softball, like I love to compete, and then getting to do this with Kaysen and just seeing the love that he's developed and just the growth in the game that he's came in, I wanted to reach out, and anytime that you come to we go to a pickleball tournament, Kaysen's always a crowd favorite because they go and watch him naturally because he's a little kid out there playing with adults, so he's always a crowd favorite. And we've just met some awesome people throughout the pickleball community. So just reached out to engage and kind of let them know our story and what we're doing. They reached back out to us, said, "Hey, we'd love for y'all to be ambassadors of our brand." And they sent us some paddles, bags, and shirts and hats, and they gave us like a little promo code and gave us some discounts on future gear and stuff like that. So I would definitely encourage anybody that's looking into pickleball, whether it be for fun or whether they want to play at the higher level, engage. If they go to engagepickleballsports.com, if they reach out to me, I've actually got a promo code they've got a promo code. We can get them 20% off. So anybody that's interested in getting some gear, some paddles or anything like that, I'd be glad. We've got some demo paddles that we can let them try out to see what fits their needs and stuff like that. But yeah, Engage has been a huge blessing. They've taken really good care of us, great equipment, and they've been we're very, very fortunate and grateful to have them on as sponsors.
Very good. So yeah, find Dylan Davidson on Facebook and Engage Pickleball, ENGAGE, and he can hook you up with a promo code. We have one more question, Bailey. Is it specific for Kaysen, you think, or is it for both of them?
Well, that's what we ask most of our guests. So let's ask both of them.
All right. So the bonus question is, can you do the gritty? I mean, this is the gritty. Kaysen knows what the gritty is, right?
Kaysen can do it. I can't.
Can you? I mean, you're out there on the.
Yeah,
he'll
do it. Room. Get out there and show him how to do it.
Can we hit the gritty? I mean, when you're on the pickleball court, do you hit the gritty?
Can y'all see
him? Yeah, we got him.
All right.
Oh, there we go. That's
he can do it.
Yeah,
James, awesome. We may have to come up with a different thing because that's a few years old, but we're going to find the latest craze.
Okay.
That was good.
Good job, Kaysen. Well, congratulations, you guys. Keep working hard, and the best part's you guys doing that together. So I know
absolutely. It's been a huge blessing, how special that is. We appreciate all the support and having us on.
Yep. Good luck.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.
I knew Kaysen would be able to do the gritty.
No, of course.
Not a doubt. Okay. And we missed National Pickleball Day, by the way. I don't know how we missed that on this show, August 8th.
Well, Katie told me tonight that we could be a father-daughter pickleball team.
There you go.
She plays.
She does? Very good.
She's got her own little bag and paddle and everything.
No, she needs to get with Dylan. Maybe she gets some free stuff or get some discount on the promo code. All right, so on to a little bit of college football. So we're going to watch a short video. This was on College Game Day, and it really, I thought I knew how the playoffs was going to work until I watched this video. Let's see if I can get it to play real quick.
The 12-team college football playoff is here. So let's dig into how the teams can punch their playoff tickets. The 12-team college football playoff will feature the 5 highest-ranked conference champions, plus the next 7 highest-ranked teams as determined by the CFP selection committee. The 4 highest-ranked conference champions will be seeded 1 through 4 and receive first-round byes, with the 5th highest-ranked conference champion being seeded where it was ranked or at number 12 if its final ranking lands outside of the top 12. So that's who gets in, which brings us to where and when the games will be played. The 8 teams seeded 5 through 12 will play in the first round, starting on December 20th, with the teams seeded 5 through 8 hosting a home game. Meaning the pageantry of on-campus college football is coming to the playoff for the first time. Man, that is going to be incredible. From there, the playoff will play out as dictated by the bracket, with no reseeding between rounds. The quarterfinals and semifinals will be played at traditional New Year's Six bowl game locations, followed by the national championship game in Atlanta, where our first 12-team college football playoff national champion will be crowned on January 20th, only on ESPN.
All right. So did you get all that, Bailey?
Yeah.
Okay. I had to watch it 3 times. Maybe I'm a slow processor. So the takeaway from that for me was when I first heard about how it was going to work, and the first round there are going to be some buys, and then the first round the higher seed was going to host. As a fan, this is fun fans. I'm like, hosting the playoff, that will be awesome. That's what I don't want to buy. Don't want to be in the top 4. I want to host the playoff game. But then after much better understanding, and we appreciate Kurt Herbstreit being on the show, by the way.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kurt. To be in that spot, Clemson would have to not win the ACC. Is that right? Am I saying this right?
Yeah. So I mean, if they win the ACC, they're going to be one of the top 4 or 5, or number 5, or wherever they're ranked.
So they,
or 12.
They could be,
but
with the way the conferences are now, the top there. I guess everybody's just assuming that the top 4 conference champions are going to be SEC, ACC, Big 10, Big 12, and then the mid-major, the highest ranked mid-major, is still going to be ranked lower than those 4 conference. I mean, if Clemson wins the ACC and Tulane wins whatever conference they're in, surely for goodness, Clemson's still going to be ranked higher than. But I guess there's a chance.
But they could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 through 12. They could be any one of those 12 spots.
No, they could. That's right.
Let's say the ACC, everybody beats everybody, and Clemson pops out on top, and they're 8-4. They're not going to be ranked in the top 12 in the country, but if they win the ACC, they would be ranked 12th in the playoff bracket.
Right. They might. Right. They or higher.
Don't forget, one of those spots is going to be Notre Dame somewhere. You can believe that.
Pretty much bank on that. So the other thing, so that's interesting, and that's definitely some things to think about. And this, you talk about, halfway through the season, the scenarios and making it fun. That's going to be pretty cool.
Well, the one more thing I thought about immediately. I was on the field at Clemson the last home game last year after the game.
Okay.
The field was not in any kind of condition. It was awful. The grass was spotty. The ryegrass the Bermuda had kind of faded away. The ryegrass was spotty coming in. And you're talking about playing a home game on December 20th, which basically gives 3 weeks for them to get the field right.
Yeah.
So that could be a whole residing issue there for a lot of places. I just thought about that because I just remembered how bad the field actually was. It looked fine on television because they painted green, but it was not great.
Not great. So a lot of things to think about. A lot of things are going to be different. Or Clemson could be, we're saying Clemson, your team, whoever's listening, your team could be one of those seeds that travel somewhere that they would have never played before. They put a scenario. So on game day, they put a scenario. They said, okay, let's take the rules of this 12-team playoff and let's apply it to last year and the year before. And then one of those years, I think they had Clemson playing at Ohio State. So whatever. So that would be pretty. We played Ohio State, obviously, but not. I mean, it's been a long time since we played up there. Yeah. So anyway, a lot of fun stuff talked about on College Game Day because with college football Saturday. So that the College Game Day started off. That was fun. They played that video, then they rolled into each of the commentators making their pick, their prediction, and they get to Saban. And I have to point this out, Bailey, because it reminded me of you. Did you see this? You were
no. I was playing golf Saturday morning.
So it was obvious that they made Saban pick, a 12-team prediction playoff.
Well,
And when they got finished, I think Kurt or one of the guys like, now wasn't that fun, coach? And he was just like, and I'm like, that's Bailey. And coach, that's a coach right there. You don't want to fool that.
he said on the Pat McAfee show from Ireland, and they replayed it on WFNZ in Charlotte, so I'll give them credit. I was listening to it the other day. He was like, look, I'm going to do reverse rat poison. That's what he called it. He said, nobody wants to be picked first. He said, nobody wants to be picked to win the national championship.
That's
he
right.
said, you want to be the underdog. He said, I'm going to pick Georgia to win it all. He said, but I'm going to pull for Alabama to win it all. And so he was not, he said, this is crazy. We do this every year. He said, as a coach, I hated it. And now I signed up to get on TV and talk about it.
Yeah, that was funny. Definitely reminded me of you. All right. So we rolled into the game. Speaking of Ireland. So this is the Fun Fan Show. And this is what I do. When I'm watching a game on TV, the first thing I look at all the pomp and circumstance, and I look at the stands. Mm-hmm. Bailey, I'm assuming you watched at least some of that game.
I did. I watched most of the second half.
That stadium is huge. Some soccer
pitch.
Yeah. And it was packed. We had a conversation at my house. How many of those people are Americans? So we're just making up scenarios and 20%, 30%, some people that work over there and like, hey,
right,
I'm going to a football game just because I can. And of course, you know, it had to be a small group of fans that went with the team and the band and the cheerleaders and that kind of thing. But the majority of those folks had to be Irish. I mean, right?
Well, I mean, I think, you know, if let's say Clemson played over there, you would have a large group of Clemson fans that made a vacation out of that.
Right.
You know, there was a lot of maroon and gold in those stands. A lot.
When you say a large number, but not near enough to fill that stadium.
Right.
I mean, that was a lot of people. So anyway, that was fun. Excuse me. That was something super fun about that game, and was definitely appreciated by the folks over there. It seemed they definitely had a good time because that was definitely a good game. So speaking of the game, you know, we don't really break down games on this show, but yeah. How about that?
Well, here's the thing. There were 51,000 fans there.
That's all. It looked packed. It looked more than that.
Well, that's a huge soccer stadium for Ireland. But the game, Georgia Tech, I had a guy that I work with who is a huge Florida State fan. We were just discussing the game Friday night at our football game. I said, look, the prognosticator said the best bet of the weekend was taking Georgia Tech plus 9.5 points.
Right.
He goes, well, I think it'll be close, but you think we worried about Haynes King, the quarterback from Georgia Tech?
Yeah.
So if I don't do this because I don't want people doing it to me. I would never text him, and I won't say a word to him till maybe I see him midweek because I'm sure it was rough for him.
Well, you don't have to say anything when you see him.
You play the game.
That's right.
All right. And Georgia Tech is their offense. I love their coach. He says, run the ball. They're going to run the ball because he's an old offensive lineman, and the run sets up the pass like it used to. All right. And they did. It wasn't a completely clean game, but they just kind of beat them up front.
They did beat them up front, and that's the bottom line. Florida State did not look like a top 10 team.
And they are not that good.
And Georgia Tech, but this is the thing that I want to say, because most people are talking about Florida State and playing poorly and getting upset. Georgia Tech played well and lined up against the number 10 team, preseason, whatever, and beat them. So I give Georgia, they are legit. We don't, this is like the first year in like forever, Clemson don't have Georgia Tech on the schedule, right?
Right.
That might be a good thing. But maybe we play them, and hopefully we make it to the ACC championship. We might be lined up against the Rambling Wreck, because they were legit. Offensive line, defensive line. I mean, they just ran it right down their throat for the most part. So
yeah, and I'll say this about Florida State. That drive where they converted to a couple fourth downs, DJ made some good throws. DJ is pretty much the DJ limit. That's what you're gonna get. And you know that.
Yeah.
And at Clemson, he would have looked that way when he was at Clemson, but that was a time where no one caught the football.
Yeah.
You remember those years, that year?
Yeah.
That was terrible. But,
Yeah.
So good luck, Florida State.
Well, and I've said on this show, we talked about DJ. He's got all the potential in the world. That's why he keeps getting all the chances. And at some point, the switch might flip. And if it ever does, he'll be really, really good. But so far, it has not happened. So there's that. All right. The other game Saturday, real quick, that we paid attention to because they're in our conference now, SMU. And they had to come back to beat Nevada. I looked in their stands and it was about empty. And I'm like, well, where's the people? We got a football game, a college football game. Everybody been waiting months to watch a game. And those cats out there in Nevada must still be, I don't know, at the lake or something. So
maybe they're not even back yet. Like some
this
schools
is
aren't
true.
back yet. And why would you never, ever, ever have a home game before the kids get back?
That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Another point about the playoffs. That would actually be a game if Clemson hosted one where they're home for Christmas.
That's
so
right.
It puts a strain really on kids to I want to go back to the game, but I just got home to New Jersey for Christmas.
Or do you stay?
Or you just hang out for a couple of days and make it a big old party.
It might be, have to look at the calendar.
It's
Might be
more like
a
3
week and a half.
weeks.
Yeah. And that'll be the same, not just Clemson. That'll be the same for every school. So it'll happen on a campus when the kids are at Christmas break. So that's something to think about as well. But SMU, everybody was talking about they might be a dark horse in the ACC. I was not impressed. Sorry, just wasn't impressed.
Well, you don't know right now because you don't know, is Nevada any good? Because as Nick Saban said, this is ridiculous. We don't know how good these people are.
We don't know, and they're going to get better, but they didn't look. They looked a little small. They were fast, but they looked kind of small.
They're going to have as much talent in the first stringers as probably most ACC schools. It's going to be the next tier of player. Like if somebody gets hurt, who are you able to put in? Right. That's what Clemson's struggles have been recently because they had somebody hurt, and the next guy was okay, but then the next guy. Right. You got to be deep, and so it's going to be interesting.
It's going to be interesting, and what every player needs to stay on the field is some energy. Go to w.gg, enter promo code FUNFANS for your jitterless energy drink. Okay, so speaking of Clemson, we take on Georgia in 6 days. If I was superstitious, which I am not, you would say that the upset of the beginning of the season has already happened, so there's no way Clemson wins. But on this show, Bailey Jackson says what about Clemson winning?
It's going to have to be a really, really, really well-played football game by the Tigers. But people are sleeping on the Tigers. And I'm telling you, when I look at the roster, the biggest thing I see, new O-line coach, supposedly that's going great. Second year with the offense coordinator and receiver depth because these guys are back. We don't ever talk about Cole Turner.
Yep.
And he got hurt.
Yep.
And he's back. Yep. We don't ever talk about these guys that did not play because of injury. And that's part of sports, but they're all back. And the defense is back with a 5-star plugging in at linebacker, who they say did. I played golf 2 days with Nick Clayton, played for Clemson baseball this weekend. He said Sammy Brown is ridiculous. Said he is a beast. Well, he said he don't look like a freshman when you walk up beside him in the line at the cafeteria.
Well, you heard it here, fans. We're always not just pulling for the Tigers. We think they can line up and take on the Bulldogs and come away with the dub. There's going to be some other great football. We talked about this last week. Starts Thursday night. North Carolina plays Minnesota. A couple of the games that I think we're going to be interested in. TCU at Stanford on Friday. Then Clemson, Georgia. Florida, Miami at 3:30 on Saturday. Notre Dame at Texas A&M at night. And then there's a Sunday night game and a Monday night game. So, but most important thing coming up this weekend for this show is this is the Costco trip weekend. The first home game will be is 2 weeks away. So this coming weekend, that's your Costco trip to get stocked up with all the water bottles, sodas, and
are you going to get the big oatmeal cream pies?
Well, yes.
Yeah,
Is the sun
I
gonna
knew
come
that.
out? Yes,
I knew
I
that.
am. It is it's on like Donkey Kong. So when we get out there, by the way, if you're just listening on audio, you need to come check this out. So we're going to be in a different spot. Look for the black Ford with that diamond etched product, officially licensed Clemson front license plate on the very last space right before Perimeter Road on Centennial Extension. There you see there. Look, there's the Porta Johns, Bailey. They're ready.
Yep. We'll comment on those after we use them.
Yeah. So that's where we'll be. You want to check, come find us at the Fun Fans Tailgate when the Clemson kicks off. That'll be against App State in 2 weeks. All right, Bailey, how about a real quick O's update?
Yep, they're one back of the Yankees. They're actually on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball right now. So it's cutting into my viewership. But before we go, because I know the time is the time. There's two things we know about college football right now that I know. Number one, Georgia Tech is first in the ACC,
That's right.
and Florida State has sole possession of 17th place right now as we sit here.
It's making history.
Yes.
So, all right, very good. So, real quick, couple of last final announcements. Remember, this Saturday, Rubens opening at 11 o'clock. They're going to do special stuff for college fans. So go to whichever Rubens is closer to you and support them. And they're going to work their, specials and stuff like that around the college fan. Huge announcement. Hopefully you've heard about it by now. Bailey and I, and thanks to our partners at WSBN TV, we're going to team up and bring the sports fans across the upstate a new show. All right, Southeast High School Highlights. We're going to partner with a handful of schools, and you can see them right there, the GMC Blazers, Spartanburg Vikings, Clover Blue Eagles, and the Landrum Cardinals. And we're going to feature their non-football athletes and teams. WSBN is all about getting coverage and attention for athletes who do not normally get the spotlight from other media. So we're going to do something special for those kids and those families. So if you know somebody affiliated with any of those schools, please share the information with them. You can find all this on our social media. And for now, it's just going to come straight through our social media or our channel 24 at WSBN TV. And we start this Wednesday, August 28th at 8 p.m. It's going to be cool. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, and I'm going to give you a little teaser. The Blue Eagle representatives are going to have a little international flair.
That's awesome.
We have 3 foreign exchange students this year, and all 3 are participating in a fall sport. So there will be some interviews.
All right. Y'all were assigned cheerleading for the first. Was that going to work out? Or y'all getting somebody else?
I'm getting somebody else. Who assigned cheer? Did I get an email?
Yeah, that was for me. But it's fine.
When'd you send it?
I don't know.
If you send it Friday through today, no chance.
No, it was like a week ago or something.
Okay.
But as long as we get one of those athletes to talk to and hear from, that'll be great. We get the feature. So anyway, all right. So that's the show. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back next Sunday after the Tigers have played the Bulldogs. We hope all the fans enjoy the start of the season as much as they can. Either way, we are looking forward to the first kickoff. And do not forget about the Southeast High School Highlight Show coming this Wednesday. Thanks again for checking us out each and every Sunday. Don't forget to click subscribe on the Fun Fans Podcast YouTube channel, as well as your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on social media and please share. Reach out to become a sponsor. On behalf of the Fun Fans Podcast, Jay Thriller Entertainment, the Fanboys Fangirls Podcast Network, and Bailey Jackson.
Go Tigers. This game.